Today's bake is chocolate cake. First, we need to wash our hands. Next, we need to preheat our oven to 350 degrees. You also need to make sure that you have all of your ingredients ready to go before you start. I have all of mine already waiting. And I have my tools waiting as well. The next thing we need to do is grease our pan. I'm going to use butter and a paper towel, and I'm just going to rub it all over. And I just rub that butter all over the inside of my cake pan. Be generous. My recipe also tells me to flour the inside of my pan. So I'm going to add some flour over the butter. And I'm going to move that around. Let me show you how. We just tap the sides of the pan and turn it. Buttered and floured. Here's my large mixing bowl, and we are going to start with the dry ingredients. So we need to use our sieve to make sure that everything is nice and fluffy as it goes into the bowl. Into this, I'm going to put my flour, my cocoa powder, my baking soda, salt. Let's measure. I need 1 3/4 cup of flour. Here's 1 cup of flour. And here is my 3/4 cup of flour. We need 1/2 cup of unsweetened baking cocoa. This is what mine looks like. Notice the word unsweetened. I would advise you not to eat this, as it is not sweet. Though it may look yummy, it isn't going to taste the way you might think it would. 1/2 cup of unsweetened baking cocoa. It smells good. 1½ teaspoons of baking powder. Here's my half. I'm going to scoop it. And right here on the edge is a little level. Half. My 1½ teaspoons baking. I also need 1½ teaspoons of baking soda. 1½ teaspoons of baking soda. I also need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now we're going to sift this all into the bowl. I'm just tapping the side of the sifter with my palm to work all of these dry ingredients into my bowl. The recipe tells me next to add 1½ cups of sugar and then whisk it. to combine. 1 cup, half cup. That was my 1½ cups of sugar. Now we're going to whisk this together. See how it's all the same color now? All mixed together. It looks like chocolate. My recipe has asked me to get another large bowl and a mixer for the eggs, milk, oil, and vanilla. We need 2 eggs. Here's 1. There is 2. We're going to add 1 cup of milk, here's a little secret. I'm using buttermilk. I often use buttermilk in my recipes that call for regular milk. It just adds a little something that I like. But of course, you can use regular. I also need a ½ cup of oil. I'm going to use the same cup I measured the milk in. There is my ½ cup of canola oil. We also need a ½ teaspoon of vanilla. Now my recipe tells me to whisk these together. The recipe's next step says to gradually add the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients and mix until there are no lumps and the batter is smooth. Let's do that. I'm going to gradually add my wet ingredients while I'm mixing the dry ingredients in. You can take your time. There's no hurry. The next step of the recipe tells us to add 1 cup of boiling water. So we need to be very careful with this. You can add water, or you can add coffee. This is 1 cup of very hot espresso. It adds just that extra something that makes a chocolate cake taste even chocolatier. So I'm going to add this slowly using my spatula and very, very carefully because it is hot. My espresso, or boiling hot water, is mixed into my cake batter very well now. The next step is to pour the cake batter into the pan that we've already prepared. I'm going to use my spatula to scrape that last bit of goodness out of the bowl. and into the cake pan.
The oven for 45 minutes.
While that's baking, take some time to clean up. And here we have our chocolate cake, fresh out of the oven. Now you could put some frosting on it, or you could put a little dusting of powdered sugar. That's my favorite. I hope you enjoy your chocolate cake.